All right, today I'm going to dive right into this podcast. It's going to be relevant for everybody that listens to this, especially those that really push themselves to the next level and are constantly trying to level up and get better and grow and put themselves in situations to force themselves to grow and get better and level up. And what I want to talk about is sometimes putting yourself in a situation that terrifies you because that means you are way outside your comfort zone and probably about to endeavor on something that is going to help you level up big time. This week, I will be doing the 4-4-48 challenge, which was inspired by David Goggins, which is literally running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So at the end, when it's said and done, you're doing 48 miles in 48 hours. And I'm really terrified about it right now. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. The thing that's got me actually more terrified than I already probably should be is my training got cut short. The race is actually on March 4th. That weekend, I'm going to be in Mexico and some other things came up. So I'm literally going to be running this 2 weeks earlier than scheduled. So I lost 2 weeks of training time. And for the last 3 weeks, I've been launching new things for my business and just creating tons and tons of things. And work always comes first in my world. So I've been so busy the last 3 weeks. I haven't been able to put in the amount of training that I planned on initially. So I'm a little extra intimidated by the race now. I would even use the word terrified. I'm not terrified to the point where it's crippling, but I am terrified to the point where I know what's coming. I know it's going to be really hard. And all the things that we talk about and the self-doubt and the mind trying to create things in your head that are out of your control. All of that stuff is happening this week. So I really wanted to get on and just turn this mic on. I don't have much of a script. I just wanted to talk about it. And I'm thinking about what situations do people have to be in before their mind starts really creating that kind of fear, even to the level of being terrified, right? And I think it's whenever we do something that's new, that there's a chance of failure. Even if it's not new, anything that creates an opportunity for there to be failure, especially a high chance of failure, I think that creates a fear in all of us. Like, what if this doesn't work? There's just so many examples that this applies to for people that are out there trying to grow and get better. Starting a new business, starting new relationships. Anytime you start any sort of new routine, a new diet, should I hire that fitness trainer? If I don't sign up, then I can't fail at showing up. Like, there's so many different examples that if you push yourself out of your comfort zone and you can fail at it, that fear can kick in. And I think that's normal. I know that's normal. We all go through it. Every great person in the history of the world had fears and were probably terrified at some point. But again, like always, we need to acknowledge it. We need to convert it into fuel, be aware of it. But as always, you got to plow forward. So like if you're starting a new business, like I work with 1099 salespeople all the time. They're starting a new business and many of them have even quit their jobs, right? They've got some sort of income coming in, but they want residual income. So they dive all in with what we do. And quickly it goes from that commitment to, oh crap, what if this doesn't work? And that's the fear that we're talking about. Nobody wants to put themselves in a position to fail. But I think that the greatest people out there, the ones that are advancing the most in their lives, put themselves in a position to fail. They push themselves so far outside their comfort zone that fear is very real. It's okay to have it, but you have to use it in the right way and you've got to do something with it. Because even falling short when you go way outside your comfort zone, you're still farther ahead than sitting in your little box, nice and comfy with zero chance of failure. Can you imagine spending your whole life never putting yourself in a position to fail at anything? If we were naturally born scared to fail at anything, we wouldn't have not only walked, but we wouldn't have even crawled. We would have never learned our ABCs. We would have never learned how to do math or read. If we were naturally designed to never fail at anything, we would never grow past the infancy stage. We are designed to put ourselves in situations that failure is a possibility. This is how we get better. So I want you to answer to yourself, are you working on something right now where the fear of failure is driving you in a positive way? Is there any area of your life that has got you uncomfortable, like, man, what did I get myself into? And if not, I invite you to find something like that. Because on the other side of that fear and on the other side of being terrified, the reward is so gratifying. Just the thought of being able to run these 48 miles. This race, there's not even a medal at the end. When I do a Spartan race, there's other people there and there's medals and stuff. This race I'm doing, I don't even get a freaking medal at the end of it. But the feeling of knowing I could push to that level is so rewarding. When you get in and you start your business and it's a 1099 and failure is definitely an option, what is the feeling of succeeding of it? That feeling of success, which can be fueled by the fear, should far outweigh the actual, I shouldn't even try because the odds of failure are high. When we do things that are so hard that they terrify us, they are the most rewarding things. But you've got to be ready to beat your mind. As always, your mind is going to try to convince you to not go for it. It is going to try to pull you back into your comfort zone and say, stay over here where the odds of failure are basically zero. But that's not where the growth is. When your mind is asking you, like, am I ready for this? It doesn't fucking matter if you're ready for it. Go for it. If your mind says, am I good enough for this? The answer is yes. Am I worthy to even attempt this? Yes. Who says I am relying on somebody else's opinion of if I'm worthy or not? Of course I'm worthy. Are you even experienced enough to do that? Folks, results are your experience, not time. So if you want to have the experience, then go do it. Don't wait for it. That's where experience comes from. And on the back end of all these questions where the fear really kicks in, what it's really saying is, am I going to embarrass myself? What are people going to think of me? Am I going to let anybody down? Listen, you've got to block all that noise out. That noise is normal. It's going to happen. If you put yourself in a position where fear should be crossing your mind because it's natural, the point I'm making is you've got to learn how to block that crap out and you've got to move forward. The way that you accomplish whatever it is that's got you terrified is to move forward. Block that noise out when it comes up, but just move forward. So the tips that I have here is how I operate, okay? This is how I put myself into situations and come out on the other end the best that I possibly can. I like to put my back against the wall. I don't want to have an out, okay? AKA burn the ships. I'm sure we've all heard the lesson of burn the ships. You want to block off all the exits. You want to burn the ships that you can go back home on, and you want to put your back against the wall. When you're going up against something very tough that terrifies you, you want to make it so that there are no plan Bs. Go into it with failure is not an option. Short of death, I must accomplish what I'm set out to do. And one way that I like to put my back against the wall is I like to announce what it is that I'm doing. I don't put things out there because I need your likes and shares and thumbs up and crap like that. I do it for me because it puts my back against the wall to plow forward through the fears and through being terrified. I want the whole world to know what I'm trying to do. I want them to think that I'm crazy because guess what? The things that I'm trying to do are really fucking hard, and most of the world wouldn't be able to comprehend why you would even attempt to do it. But that's why you're on a podcast called LevelUp Lifestyle. The people that are looking to be the best versions of themselves possible put themselves in situations that the rest of the average world thinks is nuts to even attempt. That's a category that I'm totally fine being a part of. So once I put myself in that kind of a position, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can within reason to prepare the best that I possibly can. I'm not going to put myself into something really, really hard and then just sit back on my loins and wait for it to come up and say, I hope that I'm ready. I'm going to train my butt off for it. I'm going to study my butt off for it. I'm going to research my butt off for it. I'm going to invest my butt off into it. I'm going to put it all on the line and leave nothing on the table. Because if I do that, then I can go into it with confidence in my training and confidence in my skills and confidence in my abilities and confidence that I did everything within my power to put myself as close to ready as possible. And even on a task like 48 miles where I don't know if it's even possible to actually be ready for that, I want to know that I did everything in my power to be as close to ready as possible, even if that means not ready. Because once that gun goes off and once it starts and once you start your business and quit that job and once you make any commitment that puts you outside your comfort zone, that's all you've got. So when you get there, if you prepared, if you did everything that you could, if you're beating your mind, if you're pushing and putting in the work, then give yourself some freaking credit. It's okay to have that fear. That's healthy. But give yourself some credit and be proud knowing that you got the guts to even go for something so big that it terrifies you. What percent of the world do you think has the guts to do things that scare the crap out of them in some way, shape, or form? You are in a small percentage of the people of the world that are willing to put themselves in that position and have the guts to know that, yes, failure is an option, but I am worthy. I am good enough. I don't need the experience. Am I ready? I don't know. I'll let you know after I attempt this if I cross the finish line or not, and that will determine if I was ready or not anything else. It is an incredibly rare trait, and for anybody out there that is going through something that puts you in a position where you have some healthy fear or you're even terrified, but you keep plowing forward, I want to personally commend you because you are doing something. You are growing. And whatever it is that you're going after, it's just one thing. If you fail at it, you move on to the next thing. If you succeed at it, you're still going to move on to the next thing anyways, but you're still going to be stronger, whether you succeed at it or fail at it, by putting yourself out there and pushing yourself through that fear and plowing forward. You're just going to be a stronger person because of it. So I personally commend you. And I hope and I invite every single person that listens to this to do something, commit to something, get involved in something, start something that gives you a dose of healthy fear and push through it. Because at the end of the day, it's like going to the gym. You don't just go one time. You don't go to the gym on January 1st, pump some iron, and you're good to go for the rest of the year. It's a muscle. It needs to be worked out. Pushing through fears and pushing through being terrified is like a workout, and you want to keep yourself in a position where there's something that you've got to plow forward through. If your brain is never telling you that it's uncomfortable, if your brain's never telling you that it's scared, then you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough to grow to the highest level of what you're capable of. And that's what this podcast is all about. So I invite you, put yourself in some position that is very difficult and watch yourself grow. And that'll do it for today's episode, folks. This charity run that I'm doing is to raise money for youth sports. We pay for kids whose families can't afford to get into sports. 100% goes towards a good cause. So if you'd like to make a contribution, please go to www.leveluplife.co. So it's .co. You can also find me on Instagram. I'll share stories and live events. My name on Instagram is I am Joe Wagner. You can find the Facebook business page for Joe Wagner as well. And on YouTube, it's the Easy Merchant Service Sales Training channel. Go back, find me on those. If you want to see some live updates as I'm starting my runs every 4 hours, I will post them there. I'll keep everybody up to date on the mileage. Wish me well. I'll do everything in my power to run the whole 48 miles. I will do everything on my end. Please do something on your end, whether it's sharing the event, checking in on the live events. If you can, make a contribution so we can raise some funds and make it a good charity run. Thank you. God bless. We'll see you at the top.